This past week, the FDA declared the tirzepatide shortage over, but is this really good news for hundreds of thousands of people relying on affordable compounded alternatives? It could mean the end of access to life-changing medications like Mounjaro and Zepbound. Plus, we'll look at new CDC reports showing a drop in U.S. obesity rates for the first time in years, and explore Eli Lilly's massive $4.5 billion investment in future drug development. Stay tuned for all this and more as we break down what it means for you.
Welcome to the Downsized News. It's Monday, October 7th, and we're excited to bring you the latest updates and insights on GLP-1 medications. I'm Laraine Durham, and I've lost over 50 pounds on compounded tirzepatide, which is also known as Zepbound and Mounjaro.
And I'm Christopher Durham, and I've lost now 80 pounds using these medications. Today, we'll discuss everything you need to know about GLP-1s, including Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic, tirzepatide, semaglutide, and all the new stuff.
Before we dive in, just a quick reminder, we're not doctors. While we're passionate about GLP-1s and weight loss, it's important to consult a qualified healthcare professional before starting any weight loss medication or treatment.
Plus, don't miss us on Downsized Live every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we dive deeper into your questions and connect with our community.
Let's jump into today's news and explore what's new in the world of GLP-1s. The biggest story of this past week was that the FDA officially announced that Zepbound and Mounjaro have come off the shortage list. But just because the FDA says the shortage is over doesn't mean the problems are solved or that you can go down to your local CVS and get your 10 milligram Zepbound shots. In fact, for many people relying on compounded tirzepatide, this is the start of an even bigger challenge. We've reported on this story several times this past week, and the news keeps evolving for those of us relying on affordable compounded alternatives. Here's why this so-called shortage ending is bad news. The FDA's decision to remove tirzepatide from the shortage list means that 503B outsourcing facilities, pharmacies, which have been legally mass-producing compounded tirzepatide, are now on a 60-day countdown. After that, they will be forced to stop producing these affordable compounded versions entirely. The FDA claims that Eli Lilly has resolved its production issues, but we've seen this before. The so-called end of the shortage doesn't make these drugs any more affordable. Mounjaro and Zepbound are still priced at levels many people can't afford, and that leaves thousands of people who have relied on compounded versions without good alternatives. Compounding pharmacies have been providing a critical service to the patients who either can't afford the brand name drugs or need a customized version due to allergies or other medical conditions. 503A pharmacies, the smaller traditional pharmacies that compound medications for individual patients, can still produce tirzepatide, but only in small, patient-specific batches. This means limited availability, higher costs, and in some cases, the medication might not be accessible. Consequently, telehealth providers and compounding pharmacies need help finding a way to continue their business. Many telehealth providers relied on 503B facilities to supply patients with compounded tirzepatide, and now that option is disappearing. We've already seen some compounding pharmacies exit the market completely, unable to compete with the regulatory changes and challenges. A few are trying to find a way forward, but the path is getting narrower by the day. Doctors who continue to write prescriptions for compounded tirzepatide that meets FDA regulations may find themselves in the crosshairs. Eli Lilly, eager to protect their profits, has made it clear they'll aggressively pursue legal action to prevent the sale of any version of tirzepatide that doesn't come from their labs. The pharmaceutical giant is prepared to defend its market share at all costs, which could mean lawsuits, legal challenges, and even more hostile environments for patients, healthcare providers, and compounding pharmacies.
And this story just doesn't stop. And, every time I look at Facebook or one of our comment sections, somebody's freaking out. Somebody's telehealth provider has stopped.
Yeah, a lot of the little telehealth providers, a lot of the smaller pharmacies have just ended compounding tirzepatide. They've told their customers that they won't do it anymore. And some of them are saying they have 60 days and then that's going to be it.
So we're currently trying to figure out as much as we can about it, and we'll do another report if we can get more information. So if you know more about your telehealth provider or your compounding pharmacy, we'd love to hear from you. My email address is christopher@thedownsized.org. or you can leave it in the comments. All right, story number 2. Obesity rates in the United States have declined for the first time in years, according to a new report from the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics. The report, titled Obesity and Severe Obesity Prevalence in Adults United States August 2021 through August 2023, reveals that the adult obesity rate has dropped from 41.9% in 2020 to 40.3% in 2023, marking a significant shift after decades of increasing rates. The report also highlights the continued prevalence of severe obesity, defined as having a body mass index or BMI of 40 or higher. Severe obesity currently affects 9.4% of U.S. adults, with the rate being higher among women than men. While this slight decrease in overall obesity is encouraging, severe obesity remains a critical public health challenge. The decline in obesity rates coincides with the rise in the use of GLP-1 medications such as Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Zepbound. These medications, which help regulate blood sugar and suppress appetite, have been increasingly prescribed for weight management and have shown significant success, and we talk about it all the time here. According to Novo Nordisk, the maker of Ozempic and Wegovy, the company has generated $50 billion in revenue from these drugs since 2018, with 72% of that coming from the United States. Eli Lilly, the maker of Zepbound and Mounjaro, has seen similar success with billions of dollars in revenue.
Eli Lilly has announced plans to invest $4.5 billion in creating the Lilly Medicine Foundry, a new facility focused on advancing drug production and manufacturing for clinical trials. Scheduled to open in late 2027, the facility will be located in Lebanon, Indiana, and will combine research and manufacturing efforts under one roof. The primary goal of the Medicine Foundry is to explore new methods of producing medicines while scaling up manufacturing for clinical trials. This facility is expected to improve drug development efficiency and reduce costs. It will be designed to handle a range of therapies, including small molecules, biologics, and nucleic acid therapies. New production techniques developed at the foundry will be shared with Lilly's other manufacturing sites for full-scale production. This $4.5 billion investment increases Lilly's total capital commitments in the U.S. to more than $23 billion since 2020, with over $13 billion allocated to Indiana-based projects. Lilly CEO David A. Ricks noted the company's focus on supporting its growing pipeline of medicines and improving its capacity to deliver new treatments. He said the foundry will help supply high-quality drugs for clinical studies and support the scale-up of manufacturing processes for new therapies. The Lilly Medicine Foundry is expected to contribute to the company's ongoing efforts to develop and produce medicines more efficiently, addressing the growing demand for new treatments in areas like diabetes and obesity.
Which is all well and good, and hopefully they'll pass on some of those efficiencies and costs to customers, but they haven't so far.
I mean, they're investing billions in this medicine foundry just to do clinical trials.
Well, it's clinical trials for them is product development.
Product development. Right. I feel like the Zepbound and Mounjaro users of the current time are funding Lilly's new research and development.
Oh, absolutely. Place. And I think they're looking for more blockbuster drugs.
I mean, we've talked about them ramping up production facilities.
And one of the facilities is there. This is in the campus in Lebanon, so that big factory is there. They've spent billions on that factory as well.
I don't understand why you wouldn't just make more manufacturing facilities.
I think you do, and that's what they're doing.
Why are you spending it here before you can get the current production ramped up in your current medications?
I think it's not an either or. I think you have to do both.
Okay.
Because they're looking at, we've got to get Concord here up and running, that they're spending, what did we say, $20 billion or some crazy number on. Lebanon's getting a huge factory there. They've got one in Europe that was announced. So they also have to keep their pipeline going, right? They have to say, what's the next drug? Because this one's not going to be forever. They've faced that dilemma before. So I don't know. I do think that we're funding all of this, though.
Yeah. I mean, when people say, oh, well, Lilly's putting so much money into research and development, we're putting so much money into buying the prescriptions. So, yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's just kind of like, why can't we have lower prices?
Well, they're talking a lot about efficiency here. I would hope efficiency would translate into cheaper, and they could pass that along to their customers. So far, they haven't really been willing to do that. Story number 4, Elevai Biosciences, a subsidiary of Elevai Labs, has taken a big step forward in obesity treatment with the filing of 2 new patents for its lead candidates, EL22. The patents focus on treating muscle loss in obese patients, both as a standalone therapy and in combination with popular GLP-1 weight loss medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. EL22 is designed to tackle one of the key challenges with weight loss medications, muscle wasting. These treatments are great for fat loss, but preserving muscle mass is vital for metabolism, strength, and mobility. EL22, an engineered probiotic, helps maintain muscle while supporting fat reduction. Daniel Mero, co-founder of Elevai Biosciences, said, "We see a huge opportunity to address the muscle loss many patients experience while on GLP-1 medications. Our technology aims to close that gap and improve overall health outcomes for people dealing with obesity." The first patent covers EL22 as a monotherapy. In contrast, the second focuses on its use alongside GLP-1 receptor agonists to enhance the effects of these weight loss drugs by helping patients keep their muscle mass. EL22 has completed phase 1 clinical trials in South Korea, showing it's safe and well tolerated. With these patents, Elevai's portfolio now includes 4 patent applications and 5 issued patents, giving the company strong protection in key markets, including the US, Japan, China, and Korea. So it's interesting. So they're going to do this as a monotherapy, so you just take it as a separate medication, and hopefully it's designed to help you not lose muscle mass. It's okay, we all want that, right?
How will we know if it works or not? I guess you could do DEXA scans. Yeah. You know what, I think it might show if people took it alongside of a GLP-1, their weight loss might not be as fast because they won't be losing muscle. And I think people just need to the doctors and patients need to have a clear understanding of how that's going to go. Because for me, I lost 20 pounds of muscle.
I don't know that you actually did, but there's a lot of skepticism around that digital scale and that.
Yeah, I know that I lost some muscle.
Sure,
and then I know, and if you're not going to lose muscle, the scale isn't going to go down as fast.
Maybe. Or maybe it'll go up more prolonged because there's more muscle to burn the energy, right? Because muscle works harder than fat. Fat doesn't work.
Well, muscle burns more calories at rest
right.
Than fat.
So if you get thinner and have more muscle, maybe you continue
to have a higher
right. So there's a science thing. There's a science thing going on there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't know.
I don't know how that works, but it's definitely interesting. You definitely want to keep the muscle. I just hope people don't get frustrated thinking, "Oh, this GLP-1 isn't working."
Yeah, I don't
really. Probably it's working even better.
I feel like there are scientists out there thinking about this really hard, and if you looked at it over the scope of a year, 2 years, it wouldn't be an issue. It might be for 6 months or something. I don't know, but
I think it's important for these companies to look at it from the patient's point of view. I think a lot of times that gets lost. How's the patient going to perceive these losses and these keeping the muscle? I just hope that's.
I don't even know that it gets lost. I don't know that it's considered. There's no scientific consideration for how you feel about. Yeah, this is a question of are you losing muscle or how are you not?
Yeah.
That's a marketing question.
Well, and that's from the customer's perspective. And that's something I think a lot of these companies are missing.
Well, but the difference is this is a science question at this point, and that's a go-to-market strategy. So a lot of these, virtually all these medical drug manufacturers are really bad at go-to-market strategies. They're not thinking about the customer. They're not thinking about you and I and how we feel. And do we love them or do we hate them? Or are they all just big pharma and evil? Well,
right.
Feels like it most days, but Anyway, so we'll take a minute and just say, hey, if you haven't already, please take a moment to like and subscribe.
We also have Club Downsized, and that offers something extra for those who want to support us further. So all of our content is always free, but we do offer a membership under Club Downsized. If you'd like to have extra perks like loyalty badges, early video access, members-only live streams, exclusive Facebook groups, and even personalized monthly coaching sessions with either me or Christopher. So click the join button and you can learn about all the benefits of Club Downsize today. Our next story, thousands of adults in England struggling with the disease of obesity will soon have access to a groundbreaking GLP-1 through the National Health Service, or NHS. following approval from the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, and that's abbreviated NICE or NICE. The green light has been given for the use of semaglutide, better known as Wegovy. The NICE guidance recommends the drug for adults with a body mass index, a BMI of 35 or more, who also suffer from a weight-related condition such as obstructive sleep apnea or heart disease. In some exceptional cases, those with a BMI of 30 and above may also qualify for treatment. More than 1 in 4 adults in England live with obesity, a condition that can lead to severe and life-limiting health issues, costing the NHS and the broader economy billions each year. NICE has pointed out that current treatments are poorly tolerated and rarely used, emphasizing the urgent need for a compelling new option like semaglutide. Helen Knight, program director at NICE, stated, "Obesity is one of our biggest challenges facing our health service today. It's a lifelong condition with psychological and physical effects, and it requires medical intervention to manage effectively. Semaglutide offers a much-needed alternative for those struggling with obesity." The NHS has also outlined a phased rollout for Eli Lilly's Mounjaro, which is tirzepatide. The rollout will focus initially on those with the highest clinical need, so patients with a BMI of 40 or above, and at least 3 weight-related conditions such as hypertension, type 2 diabetes, or sleep apnea. Over the next 3 years, the NHS hopes to provide Mounjaro to around 250,000 patients, additional online support services to assist them in their weight loss journey. Sir Stephen Powles, the NHS National Medical Director, praised the initiative, stating, "This phased rollout will ensure those with the greatest clinical need can access these life-changing treatments first, while we develop innovative services to expand access to other patients." As obesity remains one of the largest public health challenges in the UK, the introduction of semaglutide and Mounjaro could pave the way for more widespread and accessible treatments, offering hope to millions of individuals struggling with the disease of obesity.
So I think it's interesting, particularly from a U.S. perspective, because their government, their National Health Service is actually taking part in this. They're giving that out. Now, they have a much more socialized medical system than we do, certainly. But when you start to see major countries, including this, it's got to be down the United States' path at some point.
They're recognizing that obesity is a disease, and they're spending more fighting the comorbidities with obesity. And if they just focused on eliminating obesity, all these other things would go away and they'd spend less money on healthcare in the long run. So I applaud them for recognizing that and trying to help their population with that.
Me too.
I wish the U.S. would do that.
We absolutely believe that. In our final story, Kailera Therapeutics has officially launched with $400 million in funding to develop treatments for obesity and other metabolic conditions. The company, previously operating under the name Hercules CM Nuco, that's a mouthful, emerged from stealth, focusing on creating a portfolio of GLP-1 drugs acquired from Jiangsu Hengrui Pharmaceuticals. The company's lead drug, KAI-9531, is an injectable medicine that targets GLP-1 and GIP hormone receptors. It is currently being tested in clinical trials for obesity and type 2 diabetes. Early trials conducted in China have shown promising results, and Calabria is continuing these studies to advance treatment options for chronic weight management. In addition to KAI-9531, Calabria has 3 other GLP-1 drugs in development, including KAI-7535, which is in clinical testing, and 2 preclinical candidates. Ron Renaud, former CEO of Cerevel Therapeutics, has been appointed CEO of Calabria. John Milligan, former CEO of Gilead Sciences, will serve as chair of the board. Renaud has a track record of leading biotech companies through acquisitions, including Idenix Pharmaceuticals, which was acquired by Merck, Translate Bio, acquired by Sanofi, and Cerevel Therapeutics, acquired by AbbVie. Calaria's investors include Atlas Venture, Bain Capital, some big guys there, RTW Investments, and Lyra Capital, who have collectively invested $110 million in upfront payments to license the drug candidates from Hengrui. The company plans to continue developing its portfolio of obesity treatments as it enters the competitive GLP-1 drug market currently dominated by Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly. Calabaria's emergence comes amid increased investor interest in metabolic diseases, with several biotech startups pursuing similar treatments in the field of obesity management. This is where I don't fully understand the science or the patent law. So to me, that sounds a lot like Zepbound and Mounjaro.
I don't know. They've just got letters and numbers. I mean, I don't know how.
Well, the GLP-1, the GIPs, I mean, there's so much of these, and I don't understand enough about the science of these medications to know how there can be, now, there must be 10, 12, 15 different companies out there developing what sound like remarkably similar drugs to both Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly's current portfolio. You know, how do those patents work? And how do you protect a patent when there's 15 other ones that are remarkably similar? I don't know.
Yeah, well, and these investment companies, I think you listed like 4 or 6 investment companies.
Huge ones, huge.
Only investing a total of $110 million, when the potential for these drugs are in the billions with the B. So the potential for them to cash out big time if these drugs can get to market is huge. I think everybody's racing to develop a GLP-1 drug because they see the dollar signs. That wraps up today's edition of the Downsized News. We hope you found these updates helpful and insightful as you navigate your own GLP-1 journey.
If you enjoyed today's segment, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
And while you're at it, check out our Downsized store at thedownsized.org, where you can find GLP-1 companion products and more.
Thanks for joining us today. If you liked this video, we hope you will watch our other videos for more GLP-1 tips, interviews, and insights. See you next time on the Downsized News.
I'm Laraine Durham.
And I'm Christopher Durham, and we are the Downsized.